YouTube, a new trailer is here for the new set of Pokemon TCG Pocket. Let's take a look at it. And then I'll react to the cards below. Ooh! Litten. I saw Litten. Ooh, solgaleoex. Oh, wow. Meowth. Ancaria. Raichu. EX. Lunla EX. Ancario. Marwalk. Oh, new Marwalk. Okay. Rotom. Rarecandy. Oh my goodness. Lima. Lana. Kawaii. Asaro. Malo. Lily. Alright, so Celestial Guardians. Looking like an interesting set. Really cool. I saw a lot of the cool cards in there. So let's zoom down to see what else is here. Alright. So we have, let's go over the set. So first, we have Lily. I'll go over the trainer second. Let's go over the EX Pokemon first. That we see. Solgaleoex. So the ability of Rising Road once per turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may switch it to your active Pokemon. So it's a free leaf. Alright, that's already good. 180 on a stage 2. Soul Breaker, this does 10 damage to itself. 2 retreat cost, weakness to fire. So 2 for 120 is insane. And unlike something like Clodsire, you don't need to have it poisoned, which is already better. It is on a stage 2. Clodsire is a stage 1. So keep that in mind. However, I did see Rarecandy. So if it does the same thing that Rarecandy normally does, it's going to be really, really good. So, yes. Really, really strong. Steel Energy, 180. 180 is insane HP. And it could swap itself out from the bench. So you could evolve this thing on the bench. No problem. And then, bang, just swap it out with the active. What do I think this thing will be played with? I think it will be commonly played with Skarmory. You could probably play this with Giratina too, because you could pretty much bring this in for free. So the thing is like, if your opponent has, let's say they have, you have Giratina the active and you build it up, then you could ideally like swap in Solgaleo on the bench and for free with its ability, and then put that Giratina out without having to worry about having to leaf it out or retreat it out using its own energy. You could do that. You could play this with Skarmory because you'll have all Steel Energy. And you may say, well, Giratina Psychic. Well, that's fine because you would just play this with Psychic. You would just play this with Steel Energy anyway. And just build up the Psychic naturally with Giratina's ability. So there's a lot of ways you could potentially play this. I don't think you would play this with Dialga because it only takes 2 energy to attack. So it's kind of pointless to ramp it up. But yeah, really, really good. Another good thing about this is if you play this with Red, this can one-shot Darkrai and Arceus without capes. So this would hit for 140 damage, so keep that in mind. 2 of the most common cards played in the meta. This thing can one-shot, so really, really good. I think this card will be meta-relevant for sure. Very good. On the Sean scale, I'm going to rate cards on a scale here, so give me a text. I'll give you a rating from 1 to 5. I will go 4. So we will put this, I will put this here. So this is my, alright, this is like card rating. Now this video won't be edited because this is just me going over different cards. So there's no point really in editing any of this, I don't feel. So card rating, we'll give it a 4 out of 5. I think this card could be, let me get a space here. I think this card could be very, very impactful on the meta, especially if Rarecandy is in the meta. Next, we have Lunla EX. Now, Lunla EX has the ability of Psychic Connect. Once per turn, you may remove all Psychic Energy from one of your bench Pokemon to your active. Okay, so again, this is on a stage 2. It hits 3 for 100, 1 Psychic, 2 Colorless. But if you're playing, the Colorless really doesn't matter because if you're playing this, unless you play this weirdly with like Arceus, and the only time Colorless will matter is that if you play this with Arceus, well, no, even then, like, you would, what are you going to play? Like, you're playing Psychics with everything else. You're probably going to play this with Psychic Energy anyway, because you're going to play this with other Psychic Pokemon. But even to play this with Arceus, it'd be kind of weird. because you would just be moving all psychic energy to an active Pokemon, so the active Pokemon's gonna have all psychic anyway. So yeah, that really wouldn't make sense. You're most likely gonna play this with Mew. Mewtwo is gonna be the most common way to play this, probably with Mewtwo, and I would say Giratina. So you would probably play this with Mewtwo and Giratina, and then just like move all the energy to Giratina. The thing is like, are you making Giratina Mew worse by playing this in the deck? Possibly. Again, with Rare Candy, you can get this evolved pretty quick, so you can basically make this a better Dawn and just like move everything over. But then that Giratina is kind of a dead duck. I don't know. I don't think this card's that great. If you guys thinking better, tell me in the comments below. But for right now, on Sean's card rating, I'm gonna give this about a 2.5. I don't think it's that great. I think this could be played in some spicy decks. I don't know about this thing being meta impactful. Again, 3 for 100 is not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. 180 HP is really good, but again, I don't know. We'll see. I would give this about a 2.5 right now. Not really a fan, unless somebody tells me otherwise. You could also use this with Carnivore, but I don't know if you're making other decks more inconsistent or worse by doing so. So, well, my reservations for that now. Next is raichuex. 3 Draco Meteor. One of your opponent's Pokemon is chosen at random 4 times. For each time it was chosen, do 40 damage to it. Okay, so this is another form of Wook Trio, right? So, this is basically, well, it does 40 damage, but this is basically another version of Wook Trio. Dragonite, yeah. So, it has weakness to lightning energy. It requires 4 energy to attack. So if you're going to play this, it is a basic, though. So keep that in mind. It is not a stage 1. It is a basic. You're going to probably play this with Dialga because it's all colorless. So, yeah, you're probably going to play this with Dialga because you're going to want to ramp this up really quick with Steel Energy. Maybe you throw an Arceus in there. And that's pretty much how this goes. However, I don't think this card is that great because, again, it requires 4 energy to attack. So even if you go second, that's not going to be... It's going to take quite a while to attack. So, yeah, this is probably not great. And, you know, by the time you get 4 energy established, it's like you really already need, you know... You probably already would have a stage 1 established. And you really need a game plan to win. So, overall, I don't think this card's too great. Let me know, again, if you think otherwise. I'm going to keep Rayquaza at about... I'm not going to go like 2.7 because I think that's a bit ridiculous. Maybe about a 2.5. No, not 2.65. I don't think this card's that great. Could be used as a spicy decks, but overall, not really that impressed. Okay, next we have raichuex. Does this one have the better art attached to it? Yeah, it does. Okay, so the same card. For 3 for Psychic for 60. 3 for 60. Okay. This attack does 30 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon on a stage 1. Wow, that's huge. That's really huge. So let's take a Darkrai, for example, that generally has 3 energy on it when it's ready to attack. So if this thing comes in against the Darkrai, even though it has 140 HP, this can hit Darkrai for 150. Yeah, a fully energized Darkrai this can one-shot. And with a red, you can one-shot a Cape one. So that can do that. Giratina has about 4 energy on it, so that can hit Giratina for what? Let's see. That can hit Giratina for 180. So 4 times 3, 30 is 120, plus the 60 is 180. So this can one-shot Giratina with a Cape. This can also one-shot Gyarados without a Cape. 140 HP isn't bad. So if you have a Cape on this probably doesn't get one shot in the back end. Yeah, this thing's it's pretty nice, actually. So probably the way you're going to want to play this is with Pachirisu. It is colorless. You can play this with Dialga, which isn't terrible. The only thing is, like, I think you would just rather play Arceus at that point. But it's not terrible because, like I said, if you draw up both, like your Raichu and your Pikachu and this, it's ready to go. It wouldn't be necessarily awful as like a second attacker, like if you play one line to it. So maybe you play one line to it in Dialga, it's not bad. To like one shot like a Gyarados and stuff like that, that normally Arceus Dialga can't handle, or things with like a Cape that generally can't get one shot and this can. I think the best way is to play this is probably with Pachirisu though, because if you give up the 1 point, then this thing comes in and can take out whatever they use to take out your Pachirisu if they're playing EXs. This card's not bad. Is it super, super good? I think it's good. I don't know about super, super good, because the downside to this card obviously is going to be, well, I mean, even if they have Skarmory, you still one-shot it anyway. I was going to say things with like low energy, this might have a problem. The only thing is like Skarmory with a cape, this will not one-shot because that'll be 90. So like if they start caping a Skarmory, this isn't going to one-shot it, and then they just like start poking at you and you only really get 1 point anyway. And this is going to be your base attacker, so whatever you're going to have like a second attacker ready to go. So we'll see. I think this card is solid though. I think this card is solid. I will give this card 3.5, or well, maybe I do have to go in the range. Maybe like a 3. Yeah, I'll give it about 3.5. I think this card is solid. I think this card will see some meta masterable play, and I will rate it, and I will discuss whether I think this thing can make it to masterable. I do think so. Overall, yeah, I think this card can make it to masterable. Pretty solid. Give it about a 3.5. Alright, next we have our Pokemon. Okay, so now we have Marowak. So, well, I might have to zoom in. This is a little bit blared out a bit. Okay, here we go. Flip 3 coins. This attack does 70 damage for each heads. If at least one of them is heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now burnt. Okay, so if we know anything about burning, you can deal a significant amount of damage. Okay, so it's not, I have to tell you. So you can deal a significant amount of damage to their active Pokemon. Start dealing 10 more damage. So that's really, really good. Again, this is kind of scary with Moltres, because Moltres can ramp this thing up quite quickly. And then bang, it's only a stage 1, so you can slap this down. It only has 110 HP, but honestly, that might just be good enough. You are flipping coins, so again, if you get no heads, then well, it's kind of like, you know, then you're kind of screwed. But again, like I said, it's Marowak, but I think this one, like I said, you can ramp it up with Moltres. Is it much better than the original Marowak? It is in the sense that it only takes 1 hit to take out. Again, I don't think this card is going to be super, super meta. I think it's okay. I think it's quite okay. It kind of has that, you know, coin flippiness to it, but it is kind of, to me, it's better than Ticketon. It's better than Ticketon. I'll give this card a solid 3. For what it does, I think it's quite good. I think it's quite solid. It can be used with Moltres, which is scary because this thing can attack really quick. But again, the original Marowak only needed 2 energy. That is on an EX, and it kind of did similar things. So, yeah, I think it's kind of a 3. Again, we don't know everything that's in the set. There could be even more cards that we have to look at. Okay, Popplio, just put your opponent's Pokemon to sleep, which is fine. Just a basic. We don't know what's going to come out of it yet. Another Popplio does another form of it, does Water Gun for 20. These we're going to go through fast. Litten, Scratch for 20 with 60 HP. These both have 60 HP too. Another Litten with Heat Tackle for 30, but it will deal 10 to itself. I don't know if this one's going to be that worth it, because then you're going to put yourself in range of getting hit by Carnivine or Skarmory, just one-shotting this thing, so we'll see. Then we have Oricorio. 70 HP. It has 2 energy. Knows 2 energy for 40. Your opponent's Pokemon is now confused. This isn't bad. Uh, 2 energy on a psychic with 70 to confuse the Pokemon for 40 damage. Not bad. Again, this could be good to play, coin flips with. Again, the other ones I really didn't give a rating to because they're just basics and it's not really worth really rating those too highly. I'll give this about a 3. I think this card's actually okay. Maybe a little bit lower than a 3, but it's okay. There's another version of it. Spiteful Dance, 20 plus. If your opponent's active Pokemon were knocked out by damage and attack during your last turn, this does 60 more damage. Oh, so this revenge kills. Oh, this card's really good. Holy crap. So with a red, this will revenge kill for 100. Depending on what this only takes 1 energy too. The only problem with this is that most psychic decks run EXs like Giratina and Mew. That if they revenge kill the Mew, you gotta kind of kill them and hope that you got the 2 points before they did, because otherwise they take this out, you're kind of dead, and it's only a 70 HP. If we have some low-hitting basic psychics that do really good damage, this could be really good. But, other than that, it's like, okay. I would say this card is about, I'm going to give this card, the last card you should have given like a 2.5 to. I don't know if it's that great. This I'll give about, I will have to go into some of the decimals. I'll give this about a 3.25. I think this card has some potential. But not right away. I think that a lot of the Pokemon that are used, unless you could throw this with like something colorless and beat it down, maybe something like colorless and beating it down, then you could like run it with like psychic only and then really take advantage of this. Yeah, I'll give this about a 3.25 right now. Maybe there might be some heavy potential with this card. I'm just sleeping on it. Okay. All right. Along with Meowth, scratch for 20 on a basic, which is okay. Vulpix. Ooh, a new form of Vulpix. Okay. So, this one's a water one. Take a water energy from your zone and attach this to this Pokemon. Okay, so this is another water vampire. Again, depending on what the evolution is, it's another deck that can potentially use Misty. It does have just the darkness, but pretty cool. So, obviously this card's like a solid already at least a 3.3 in my opinion, because it is an energy ramper. So, depending on what comes up with it, could be in that 3 range. So, alright. And next we have Rowlet, which does 10 damage to one of your active Pokemon. Solid. To one of your opponent's Pokemon. So, depending on what comes of this is a nice play that can get them into Cyrus. And then you have Rowlet, one that does 20. I think the other one's better simply because damaging the bench could be like Cyrus plays later on. So, that could be good. I think the upside there is to be better. And now we have items. Rotom decks. All right, let's read these. Look at the top card of your deck and they may shuffle your deck. Be real with you guys. I think this card is about a 1 or a 0.5. This card just isn't good. It really doesn't give you any value. It just shuffles your deck. If you really want to shuffle your deck, I guess. But, I don't know. Not really particularly good. Rarecandy. Alright, here we go. Choose one of your basic Pokemon to play. If you have the stage 2 card in hand that evolves from that Pokemon, put that card in the basic Pokemon to evolve it. Skip me to stage 1. You can't use this card on your first turn or a basic Pokemon that was put into play this turn. I'm going to tell you what, this card is a 4 at least. I would even say like a 4.25. This card is going to be very, very good. Because this basically allows you to skip all the stage 2s. And then go right to your right to your stage 2. So, like, immediately, this is going to be disgusting with Charizard, because if you go second, then you already have the advantage. So let's think about this, right? You can't activate this during the turn you put down your basic, right? So, because you can't, excuse me, you can't put this down during the turn you play your basic. If you go second, you already have the advantage of EXs because you can't evolve when you go second anyway. So that's out of the water. But if you're going second, this card is already get you the advantage. Because if you're going second, you aren't evolving anyway. So the downside of this card is out of the water. That's what I meant to say. Sorry for the repetitiveness. Then you attack with the Moltres. You put 3 energy. If you get 3 edge and you high roll it, you put 3 energy on your Charmander. And then next turn, your opponent goes. Then the following turn, you rare candy into your Charizard. Then you X speed out the Moltres. And then bang, your Charizard's ready to attack. You don't have to attack with it that fast. You just can't. So this can allow Charizard to potentially attack for your second turn, which is quite terrifying, to say it the least. So I think this is quite a buff to Charizard. I think that this is also a buff to a deck like Beedrill, because again, Beedrill is a stage 2, so you don't have to play any of your other stage 2 lines, which is really, really good, because you have to think about it like this. This can also evolve Meowscarada without having to play it. Now, this card is really good in Meowscarada. Why? Because, think about it, you don't have to search for your Florgato anymore. So now, your Sprigatito can be a 1-card Meowscarada line. So, if you attack with your Sprigatito, and you only play, let's say you only play that 1 line of Meowscarada, right? Let's say you play, okay, here's a deck that can really take advantage of this. Let's say you play Magnezone plus Meowscarada. Now, this card may not be as good with Magnezone, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. Let's say you play Magnezone Meowscarada, right? Well, now you cut the Florgatos out of the deck, and now if you play 1 line of Meowscarada with the Sprigatito, now it's guaranteed to find you Meowscarada, because the only other plant Pokemon in your deck will be that 1 Meowscarada. So now you're guaranteed to find Meow off that Sprigatito search. So if you're playing that rare candy, you don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to find Florgato first? Because those Pokeballs, if they find you Sprigatito or you start out with it, is already going to guarantee you Meowscarada if you're going second. So that will end up with a really fast Meowscarada online, because again, going second in the deck is going to be broken, because you attack with that Sprigatito, then you search your Meowscarada guaranteed, then the following turn, you activate that rare candy, you evolve it to the Meowscarada, put 2 energy on it, and then you've already put the Darkrai in the really bad spots that they lead it off. So, again, a really, really powerful card at 4.25 for me, and it's even good with the new Solgaleoex, because that is a stage 2, so you can evolve into it and start attacking by that turn 2 for 120 damage. So this card is really, really good. It is at least a 4.25 for me. This is a meta-changing card, in my opinion. 100%. This card, look for this card to be appearing in so many different decks. Alright. Next is Lana. So Lana, you can use this card if you have Aquanid. We don't know what this does yet. In play, switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active spot. So, I'm going to leave this card at a 3.75. We don't know what Aquanid does yet. That's the only reason why I'm leaving it here. But, again, this could easily be pushed off into the 4th spot, because obviously this is just boss's orders, and it's just Cyrus or Sabrina without any kind of restriction. So, obviously, if you're able to get this in, you just bring in whatever you want and attack with it, and they're going to have to fear it. So, if that's any good, Lana is going to be broken. So, there's that in the bag of nutshells. So, that's potentially a meta-changing card at that. Next is Ilima. Put one of your colorless Pokemon that has damage to its hand. The thing with this is there's a lot of things that kind of one-shot a Skarmory anyway. Well, Skarmory is not colorless, it's steel. Never mind. So you could put like Arceus to the end. You can have generic colorless things that you really want to put to the end. right now, it's fine. Mew is not completely colorless. Yeah, I mean, this is fine. I don't think this card's that great. I would put this at... I mean, you could put Barrel to the end, but then, like, Barrel's probably losing at that point if you go that way. I'm going to give this card a solid 2.75. We don't know what this card really has the potential yet. I haven't seen the rest of the set, so I'm going to kind of keep this here for now. Kawaii. Choose one of your Alolan Marowak or Tutor. Alright, we don't know what that does. Take 1 fire energy from your energy zone. Well, this one says take 2 on the card. So it's got to be take 2. So that's probably mistranslation. Take 2 fire energy and attach it to this Pokemon. Your turn ends. Okay. Your turn ending is kind of a downside. With Marowak, you would probably play this with Moltres anyway, because Moltres could potentially attach 3. Even though it will end the turn, but you have more of a high roll to attach and just go in on the next turn anyway. And you don't have to attach it to Marowak. You can attach it to Cubone, which is just evolves into it. So, yeah, I don't know. I would say this card is about... I'm going to give this card about a 3.25. Might be a bit higher. Depends what Tornado does and whether that's actually... Not 32.5. 3.25. What Tornado does. The fact that it ends your turn is a little bit depressing, but it does attach to energy. So you essentially do skip 1 turn. It's kind of like... Maybe it's even better. Maybe I'm not giving this... I'm going to give this like a 3.5. I think I'm a little bit high on it. It could be like... It could be insane. The thing is, this is a stage 1. I don't know what this is. So, we don't know what this card does yet. So, so it's a stage 1. So, it's not like Misty where you can just like 2 energy, turn 1, and then bang. But it is 2 energy, which is kind of scary. But again, by the time you're evolved and, you know, you're risking the turn ending and it has 110 HP. So, I'm going to give this a 3.5 for now. We'll see. But we'll see. Maybe it's a little bit less. We'll get to see what this card does, but I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt for now. Acerola. Okay. Choose one of your Palisand or Mimikyu that has damage on it and move 40 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Well, that's kind of crazy. Alright? So, basically this card says, don't attack me, because if you attack me, I'm basically 2 Rocky Helmets. Yeah, depending on what these cards do, again, we don't know exactly what these cards are doing because they're not revealed. This card is a full, again, is about another 3.5 for me. Again, we don't know what these cards do, but moving 40 damage to opponent's Pokemon is kind of insane. So, we'll have to see. Yeah, depending on whether you can protect it or not and they kill it on the back end, this card can be quite good, so we'll see. Next, we have Sulfacles. Why does this guy look like a giant baby? Alright. During this turn, attacks used by your Alolan Golem, Vikavolt, or Togedemaru deal 30 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay, so this is basically a Blaine. It's a Blaine, or a low-key, worse Cynthia. So, I'm going to give this card about a 3. Quite good. Solid. 3 is about solid. 4 is really good, and 5 is insane. But this card is quite good. Can definitely deal 3 damage, and anywhere between 3 and 5, 4, 3 and 4 could be insanely. It could high potential, I would say. I think this card is quite good though. Quite solid at what it does. All right, and Mallow. Heal all damage from one of your Shintok or Serena. If you do, discard all energy from that Pokemon. Okay, we don't know how much energy it takes on either one to do that, but healing all damage is kind of cracked. That means that they don't one-shot it, you pretty much can give it all back, but again, it discards all energy. We don't know how much energy it needs. So, you know, I'm going to give this like a 3.5. I think there's a lot of potential if it's a low energy thing. So definitely some potential here. Again, could go higher, could go lower, depending on where things are, but an insane effect definitely deserves to be in that potential range. Next, we have Immersive. Lily. Here's the last trainer. Heals 60 damage from one of your stage 2. Okay, so this is an Erica. Again, without fast rare candy comes into play. This is definitely, in my opinion, a 3.75. Almost a 4. The reason why is this can be used on any stage 2. Now, Meowscarada and Beedrill already have Erica, but again, Erica heals for 50, this heals for more. So again, if you get that Beedrill into play, this might just be better than Erica for you, because Beedrill will heal up to 60, which is better than Erica, 10 more heal, which is pretty much the only thing you're healing in that deck anyway. You know, other than Meowscarada, which you could heal with this anyway, because this is stage 2. So yeah, this is definitely solid. Almost like Erica. Quite good, I would say. Quite good, I would say. Healing 60 damage on the stage 2. And again, you could use this on a Charizard as well. If they damage the Charizard, they don't take it out, you could heal 60 on Charizard. Literally. So yeah, this card is quite good. Definitely at 3.75. Very good, in fact. Yeah, so a lot of the trainers in this deck seem very broken. Like I said, the one card that I think is going to instantly change the metagame more than anything, like I think Solgio is right there at a 4. But the card that I think most changes the metagame out of this is Rarecandy. Rarecandy is a metagame changing card. Simply because of how easy it is to evolve in the Meowscarada. Start attacking things really, really quickly with that. Yeah, very broken. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here. This is what I think. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And yeah. Also, if you didn't get to watch the whole video, or you just didn't have the time, I will upload a YouTube short either today or tomorrow, highlighting over the key cards that I think will change the meta, so you can watch it there. Okay, until next time, look out for our Pokemon stream later on today, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye, YouTube.